Oh, I finally escaped from that awful prison. What a goddamn relief. I had enough of that annoying bat.
You...
Fuck me. How did you escape?
Dude, I'm a god. Did you really think a cell would keep me locked up?
Okay, that's fair. Now that we both escaped, where should we go?
We? You mean me. I already called the cops, and they are coming for your ass.
It seems there is nothing I can do to escape from this predicament. Hey, did I tell you?
Oh my, not this again.
Protagonists. What will video games be without them? Thanks to them, we can get into and appreciate any video game plot through their eyes. Some protagonists are the chosen one, while others are just random dudes that were involved in events that drastically changed their life for the better or worse. And if you have been following this channel for a while, you know Megaten isn't the exception. Most of the protagonists from this series are some random dudes that, unfortunately, were in the worst possible moment of the worst possible time.
Wow. He's literally me.
Turning them into heroes that must save Tokyo, Japan, or even humankind. Although, let's be honest here, most of these guys would have died before reaching the second act of their respective games if it wasn't for the help of the heroines. The heroines are essential to make the plot of any Megaten continue. Aside from that, they don't get the recognition they deserve, something that will change today. Sup guys, Carlos here. Today we'll take a look at the heroines of the mainline SMT games to find out which one had the worst life someone could ever imagine. There is something I need to clarify before continuing with this video. As I mentioned in my previous videos, the mainline games are the ones that go from 1 to 5, with the other 2 games considered mainline without having a number. Those games being Shin Megami Tensei 9 and Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. And I have a problem with those games. Strange Journey's main partner is Art, the AI ship, which doesn't have a gender. And SMT 9 does have a female partner, but this game must be one of the most inaccessible games in the whole fucking series. That's why I won't include them in the video. To compensate this, I'll include Yumiko Shirasagi from the digital level story novels and Rosanna from Megami Tensei II. This video required many hours of research and replaying the games. This project would have taken me months to finish if it weren't for Buffmeister and Marsh's videos. Thank you very much guys. If you like this video, don't forget to support it by leaving a like, a comment, and share it with everyone that you know that loves this franchise. Now, it's time to show you why the female partners deserve more respect, love, and recognition than the ones they had. Which mainline Shin Megami Tensei female companions suffered the most? Let's find out together. Now that I can't talk about the Megami Tensei heroines, I realized I went so dirty with Nakajima on this video. Back then, I thought it was a good idea to just mention the events he had to live through on his video game, which was a tremendous mistake considering the first Megami Tensei media ever made was a novel. I'm sorry, Akemi Nakajima. I won't make the same mistake with your girlfriend. Yumiko is the first Megami Tensei heroine. She appeared in the first 3 digital level story novels, and unlike Nakajima, she also appeared in specific moments in the new digital level story novels. If we consider she is the first heroine from this enormous franchise, she had a wonderful and normal life compared to the others, right? Yumiko arrives at the new school, Yusho High School, where she immediately senses something is off and sees some random dude using his computer during mid-class. What a loser. After class, she overhears a conversation between this guy and their teacher, Ohara. Instead of simply ignoring what she heard, like a normal student will do, she decides to follow them. Worst mistake of her life. She arrives at the computer-aided instruction room, where she witnessed a demon summoning, and how her teacher was raped and impregnated by a partially materialized Loki. Remember, this weirdo already told Yumiko to stay the fuck away from him, and she simply ignored that warning. Days passed, and Yumiko forgot all of that disgusting and shocking event. Still, this guy called Nakajima contacted her to tell her to stay away from school. Someone is coming for her. And what does she do? Of course, she went to school the next day. The moment she puts a foot into her classroom, she feels something is very off and ends up in a Kai room after being forced by her classmates, who were acting very weird. The demon Loki manifests himself and pulls tentacles out of his body to do the same thing he did to Ohara. Ohara was so jealous that, according to the novel, she tried to twist Yumiko's head. Just before Ohara was about to finish her off, Izanami manifests and takes control of Yumiko's body, granting her magic powers to defeat the demons, revealing Yumiko is the reincarnation of the goddess Izanami. Something that will be 100% beneficial for her without causing any major issues that will end up ruining her life forever. Yumiko managed to damage Loki temporarily, but the moment she tried to escape alongside Nakajima, Loki attacked her, causing her fatal wounds that caused her death. Yes, Yumiko died on her first appearance in the Megami Tensei universe. Or so we thought. Before dying, she tells Nakajima that by taking her corpse to Izanami's tomb, she will be able to come back to life. Nakajima gets his shit together and takes her corpse to the tomb with Kerberos' help. After an arduous battle against Loki, who tried to pull Izanami out of Yumiko, Yumiko was brought back to life, but Izanami chose to keep Yumiko with her to teach her to use her powers to defeat demons. Yumiko stays with Izanami on Yomi to learn to master the power that she wields within her, when suddenly she hears the voice of her mother and stops training to find out what's happening. Unfortunately, her family was murdered by Ohara, who is possessed by demonic powers for having Loki's baby inside her. Holy shit! That doesn't end there though. Yumiko goes immediately to Nakajima's house, only to find him fighting Ohara and his mother, who was possessed by a demon. Sadly, she only had one option to stop Nakajima's mother, killing her before she hurts her son. Yumiko couldn't take Nakajima's reaction, so she fled to hunt down Ohara. Holy fucking shit, we are just in the middle of Yumiko's part and this is already too fucked up. Yumiko was able to track Ohara down, but the moment she was about to do the finishing blow, Seth possessed Ohara's unborn child and attached it to Yumiko's body, forcing her to be part of him inside his heart. Crucified inside Seth's heart, Yumiko feels how her magnetite is drained by Seth, who is using it to regain his original form, and merging the human with the demon world. The gate is open for the demon to invade the human world. Nakajima had an opportunity to cut through Seth and rescue Yumiko, but the moment Seth spotted him, he crushed Yumiko's eyes, leaving her completely blind. Nakajima and Yumiko managed to defeat Seth by coordinating their attacks, but the damage was already done. Seth gathered enough magnetite to make demons enter the human world, and now they are climbing on Yumiko and the cross. Yumiko told Nakajima to let her and the cross drop inside the demon world. That way, the human world will be safe. But Nakajima saved her. He didn't want to lose the only friend and possibly love interest, dooming humankind in the process. Holy fuck, this is just the first character of this video and she already had a worse life than most of the male SMT protagonists. I don't even want to imagine how fucked up the life of the other girls will be. Yumiko is now completely blind and feeling like shit for being the reason why humankind is doomed for extinction, and no longer feels the presence of Izanami inside her. On top of that, she and Nakajima can't even sleep decently because nightmare demons are tormenting her every night. One day, she receives a message from Izanami herself telling her to go to Asuka. Despite the danger, Nakajima takes her to meet Izanami, only to be intercepted by sirens, humans brainwashed, who call a terrified Yumiko a disgusting monster. Just for that, Nakajima killed that guy, sending him into prison after a new law was recently made, mainly to fuck Nakajima up. Nakajima was in berserk mode, killing everything that was in his way after seeing his dad executed in front of him, but Izanami managed to contact Yumiko, informing her that Lucifer still had power. She blessed Yumiko with her power, completely killing her, and went to help Nakajima, but it was useless. His pure rage blinded him. He almost killed Yumiko for being on his way, only saved by Izanami, who takes control of Yumiko's body and kills Nakajima. Yumiko, seeing Nakajima's soul leaving this world, was driven by desperation. She lost everything, her family, her friends, her love interest, everything. She wanted to be with him so much that she grabbed the Hinokagu sushi from Nakajima's hand and stabbed herself in the throat. The original trilogy concludes with Yumiko's body, now in control of Izanami, taking Nakajima's corpse toward Asuka to bury him. If you think that's where Yumiko's story ends, oh hell no bro, there is something even worse waiting for her. A year later, Izanami was defeated by demons, but wasn't killed because Yumiko got back to life as well as her body. And she was needed to keep the demons in the human world because she's the main source of magnetite. But what did Lucifer do to keep Yumiko distracted? He ordered a magician to create an illusion of Nakajima. Poor Yumiko, man. Yumiko, who is now a sleepwalker, thinks Nakajima is alive and follows the illusion with the hope of reuniting with him. Later, thanks to Asuka Kira, the new protagonist, and his friends managed to break Yumiko free from the illusion, but lose Nakajima twice. She couldn't take it and flew away into the sky while screaming desperately. Even after all of that, she was still used as a puppet to attack the heroes and lost Nakajima once again, but she had a happy ending after all. 30 years later, a guy called Angel goes to where Izanami was buried, takes the corpse, and goes to an inner chamber where he kisses a statue of her, bringing Yumiko back to life. Angel is the reincarnation of Nakajima. They are finally together after so many tragic events. This is just the beginning of the video, but holy crap, Yumiko is one of the most tragic characters from Megaten. In 100 years, I would have thought she has such an horrible destiny. Man, this is just the first female companion. How things will be for the rest? Rosanna is the protagonist of the first original video game from the series, Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei II, a game that I would recommend to anyone watching this video. It's so goddamn great. Compared to Yumiko, how miserable was her life? First of all, she lives in a world that was completely destroyed after ICBMs struck the earth. The life quality is non-existent here, forcing people to live inside underground shelters to keep surviving. I still think it's better compared to today's economy though. Before Hidero and Senda stepped outside for the first time, she was a witch who worshipped Pazuzu alongside others, but she realized he was using her to be the ruler of Tokyo once she killed Bale. She opted to break away from others and hides on Tokyo Tower, where she heals and assists anyone who needs help, receiving the title of Tokyo Tower's Witch. Later in the game, she was able to convince Hidero that Pazuzu was manipulating him, but not Senda. Senda parted away from Hidero, swearing that the next time they see each other, it will be as enemies. Rosanna felt bad for breaking their friendship, but knows they will eventually put their difference on her mind. He's dead. Rosanna sees how Hidero lost his arm after a face on the wall chopped, so she had to assist Hideo until he got his mechanical arm in the lab. On Makai, she gets captured by Astaroth, and that's about it. Even though Rosanna had to live on a post-apocalyptic world, with all of what that means, she barely had any screen time. We don't know what her backstory was, and most importantly, she and Hideo faced off against and won, giving the entire world a second chance for a new tomorrow without gods and demons. Well, it's time to talk about mainline girls. Yuka, the heroine with a heart overflowing with love and compassion. She is a character that no one can hate. I would say she's my favorite character in SMT I, but that place belongs to the best partner in the whole series. She is known for being a magic adept, something that gets you into serious problems in the SMT I's world. At the beginning of the story, you heard the SPD forces led by Goto are looking for all the girls named Yuka throughout Japan until they find the one who leads people. Of course, this is because Yuriko convinced Goto she is a menace to the world he's training for, a world full of freedom, without laws that oppress its people. Yuka is the leader of the Resistance, a group that is against Goto and the American forces, another reason why both factions want her dead. When Kazuya, Yuji, and Takeshi met Yuka, Yuriko tracked her down, kidnapped her, and arranged her public execution for opposing Goto. Of course, it was stopped by Kazuya and his gang. I'll never understand why Kazuya didn't choose Yuriko. I mean, oddly crazy for demonic puss. After Kazuya and Yuka took down Thor, he triggered the ICBMs that will inevitably destroy Japan. To save Kazuya and his friends, she cast Thor apart and sends them to another dimension, the Diamond Realm, but she is left behind, and thus she dies by the ICBMs as well as most of the citizens of Tokyo. Yuka was turned into particles, identical to how I died on several occasions. Although she did not perish, she awakens in an astral plane different from what she experienced before, where she met her reincarnation, her Tensei, who tells her she can go back and help Kazuya, but first she must fuse with her reincarnation to become one. She agrees and reappears in Tokyo after 30 years from the ICBM destruction. Yuka gets captured by Osawa's men and is sent to Shibuya, where a demon called Arachne takes control of her mind. Kazuya and Yui rescue the Soul Diver, who helped them to get inside Yuka's mind to kill Arachne. Inside her mind, Kazuya and Yui discovered that Yuka was trained by the Messiahs, chosen by God to become the Messiah that will lead the people by his name. Yuka was rescued, but lost all of her memories outside of her mission to help Kazuya achieve the work he is fighting for. From that point on, Yuka lived horrible things alongside Kazuya, such as seeing how Yuji saved Kazuya but died for it, how the Chaos Forces were slaughtered in humans for messing with demons, how Lord Hiro flooded all Japan by God's will, and so more. Kazuya and Yuka defeated both factions, maintaining the status quo on their world. And that's how her story should end, but even though we've just reached the end of SMT I, we are not done with Yuka yet. What I'm going to say now is purely speculation, mostly because we don't know what happened to her after the events of SMT I, which is the opposite of Kazuya's fate. Okay, here it goes. Beth is the reincarnation of Yuka. Let me explain. Both have similar costumes, both were introduced as the heroines of their games, even though one of them only lasted like an hour, and both stuck with their protagonist to the end. If Beth is Yuka's reincarnation, what would that mean? That she gave her life to protect Aleph from Dalet and was happy that she saved him from dying. A detail that reinforces this theory is, if you visit Kazuya's statue, he will drop a tear, knowing his partner is forever gone. Later, at the expense, Aleph reunites with Beth's soul, who bestows Aleph with a little power she still had before resting in peace, ending Yuka's cycle of reincarnation. Yuka is the perfect example of how the power of love and compassion for the people in need breaks any boundaries. It didn't matter how many times she'd have to reincarnate. If she fights for the people, she will reincarnate all the times necessary to save humanity. Hiroko is... oh shit, if I have an example to show you how tragic her life was, let me use myself as the best example. Imagine being an SMT I and II fan, waiting for years to Atlus to re-release or remake the games, just to see how they are planning to release Persona 4 Remake. Just kill me already. Before the events of SMT II, we already see how shitty her life is. During her childhood, she couldn't see her father that much because he was an important scientist at the center. Sometimes I wonder what's worse, not being able to see your dad that often, or not having a dad at all because he left your mom even before you were born. Several years later, she meets Hawk, the most recent Valhalla's champion. Hiroko needs his help to find a missing child. They couldn't find him, but managed to take down one of the renegade scientists, Hanara. At Madame's mansion, the governess of Valhalla, they met Seiin, who came for Aleph to take him to the center as an honor for becoming the new champion. When they arrive, the bishop receives Hawk, amazed, who is later revealed to be Aleph, the Messiah, but reprimands Hiroko for leaving her duties as Temple Knight aside for her interest. 2 Temple Knights called Hiroko out of the headquarters. Hiroko was taken to a laboratory, where a center scientist does severe experiments on her to erase her memories and turn her into a slave for hard work at the labor camps. After Beth sacrifices herself to protect Aleph's life, the bishop commands you to find Makara, the last renegade scientist, and kill him. Aleph finds him. Before he could do anything though, he tells him there are many things he needs to know, such as his life, his past, who he is, and why he doesn't remember anything, but he needs to find Hiroko first, otherwise he won't talk. Mikara informs Aleph that she was sent to the center's labor camp, located in the underground. Once Aleph finds Hiroko on her cell, she is acting very crazy, to the point that nothing of what she says makes sense. Fortunately, a fairy called Nadia, who fell in love with Aleph, fused with Hiroko as an act of love for him, returning her to normal. Back in Valhalla, they meet with Seiyan, who told them Valhalla had been eaten by Abaddon, a demon commanded by the center to destroy the area that wasn't controlled by them, eating Meiram, Okamoto, and Mikara, who was about to tell everything to them. In the underground, Aleph and Hiroko face Dalet once again. This time, he has a dirty trick under his sleeve, using a love potion to make Aleph fall in love for Hanon to beat him once and for all. She didn't go as he plans, and accidentally dropped the potion on Hiroko, provoking an intense desire to love Dalet forever. After cornering the demon who made the potion, and with a little help from Oberon, Aleph gets a potion to help Hiroko, which let us be part of the funniest scene from SMT II. Oh my, this is so big comedy. Dalet gets affected by the love potion effects, and he falls in love with Hanon, swearing he won't bother Aleph ever again. Hiroko and Aleph faced many horrible events on their way to the truth. How mutants have been oppressed by the center for years, Masakaro turned into pieces, Deities being imprisoned by demons, the fake virtual reality the center made for Gimo, how this center used a captive siren to brainwash everyone that opposed them, how 3 elders created a fake for being incapable of waiting for orders, and so much more. Unfortunately, nothing, but nothing, can compare to what they were about to know. At the expense, Aleph and Hiroko finds a vast space that sucks them in. They let themselves be eaten by Abaddon. They met Madame, who regrets being the Elder's pawn. Eventually, they reunite with Megara, who didn't have enough time because Abaddon was sucking all the magnetite from Valhalla's people. Megara, with the little time he has, revealed absolutely everything, what the Elders and the Center were afraid of, the truth about Aleph. Aleph is an artificially created human, created by the Center to become the Messiah that will lead his people and bring them to the 1,000-year kingdom. The Elders waited for years for their savior to appear, but never came. As a last resort, the Elders created Aleph and the rest. Aleph is special, however. Compared to Beth, Saiyan, Dalet, and Gimel, who were created throughout advanced cloning techniques, Aleph was a fertilized human egg, altered to be stronger than anyone. Then it was implanted inside a young and strong woman, capable of giving birth. Finally, once the woman gave birth, the Center kidnapped the baby and made him reach adulthood in 2 days by using a bat. Hiroko realizes what all that means. Aleph is the child she was looking for, her child, and Megara, her real father. All her life, she thought she was raised by Temple Knight's parents. How blessed she was for being chosen to have babies. Her entire life was a lie. Once Megara found out Hiroko was used as a donor to give birth to an artificially inseminated human, he waited until Aleph was in his 20s to cause an explosion that distracted the Center, taking Aleph with him with Hanada's assistance. That way, Aleph would have never been instructed by the Messiahs. Hiroko's life, everything that she loved, she cared, she tried to protect, was stolen by the Center, by that fucking Messiah project. From that point on, Hiroko stayed with Aleph doublessly. It didn't matter what path he chose. She promised herself never to abandon her son ever again. This must be the most original fact that fate someone could ever write for a fictional character. We all know Aleph has a miserable time, but Hiroko too? Shit, Shin Megami Tensei II is such a unique game.
I believe in you.
Wait a fucking second. Didn't she help Hikawa to fuck humankind by provoking the conception? How can someone like her suffer if she purged the whole world? Yuko is a beloved Japanese teacher and life advisor of Naoki, Chucky, and Isabeau. Sadly, deep down, she was miserable, for no one takes responsibility for their actions, and modernization has taken over everyone's life. Society has fallen. Millions must fall. She decided to work under Hikawa to bring the conception to the world. Before it happens, she calls 3 of her students to visit the hospital where she is presumably ill. The conception was about to start, and she took Naoki with her to the rooftop to enjoy the destruction of the old world and the rebirth of a new one. Once Naoki becomes the Demi-fiend, he starts looking for his friends and especially his teacher, to demand answers about what has just happened. Yuko didn't expect Hikawa to betray her. She wanted to create a world of freedom, but Hikawa had other plans for her and used her as a tool to collect enough magnetite to create the world she is fighting for, a world of stillness. Demi-fiend rescues Yuko from the assembly of Nihilo. Suddenly, a goddess named Aradia possesses her and promises to help her fight for the world she desires. After that, she leaves. Later, he helps Yuko to retrieve an important artifact which controls even gods, which manifests Aradia and tells Demi-fiend Yuko ain't no fucking idea what she's doing and disappears. When Demi-fiend was moments before confronting Hikawa, he found Yuko trying to stop him with the power of words. Hikawa tells her to get the fuck out and uses her as a sacrificial thing to bring his god, Ahriman, to friction. Before vanishing, Yuko confesses she isn't afraid. She knows Naoki will create a better world than her, a world where everything will be better and fair. It is a fucking shame Demi-fiend chose to be Lucifer's pawn, destroying the possibility of creating a new world. It's so funny to me that Yoko tried to create a free world and ended up dooming humankind for thinking no one will betray her in a world without rules. I don't think she emphasizes logical thinking as the students believe.
Where have you been?
The first waifu for all of us. Isabeau is the perfect example of the heroine archetype. She's smart, fair, beautiful, cute, and fights for the people in need over everything. It doesn't matter who must face, she will fight until her last breath. Isabeau is a luxury. Compared to Flynn and Walter, who were poor as fuck, Isabeau is from a family of monks. Since her born, she had everything, but her family expects the greatest feats from her. Flynn, Jonathan, and Walter get along fast, but Isabeau shows no interest in them. This is because Isabeau isn't interested in any man for being full of themselves, but catches an eye for Flynn the moment he beats the rest of the samurais in a competition. One night, Walter wakes Jonathan and Flynn up to surprise Isabeau, who was on the rooftop of Mikado's tower doing something. Their attempt to surprise her failed, and Isabeau shows them something called a manga, about a fictional place called France, which France was pure fiction. Isabeau and the rest of the samurai couldn't believe there was another world under the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado, questioning themselves about what other secrets the higher-ups from Mikado had kept from these people. When the samurai finds the black samurai for the second time, she tries to spoil the ending of Isabeau's manga. Isabeau covers her ears and starts making noises. Won't listen to what the samurai said. When the samurais find out the truth about the red pills and what Lily tries to achieve, Jonathan and Walter take different paths, forcing Flynn to choose one. Isabeau unfortunately lacked the conviction to choose a side, a tremendous flaw on the Shin Megami Tensei universe that will foreshadow her tragic fate if Flynn doesn't choose to remain neutral. After exploring different realities, Flynn will have to choose what path he'll walk, a choice that will change Isabeau's fate. If Flynn helps Merkaba to destroy Tokyo or Lucifer to bring chaos to Mikado, Isabeau will try to stop him, starting a fight of will where there is only one winner. Flynn defeats her, but Isabeau couldn't live her last moment with the idea of Flynn taking her life, and thus Isabeau slits her own throat. Okay, we all know this isn't what it happens, but because everything is fucking canon in Megaten, I had to point that out. After Flynn got back from the expense, Isabeau finally reunites with him, saying how much she wants to help restore this world to full neutrality, where neither extreme takes control. Thus, Flynn and Isabeau takes Merkaba down, Isabeau stays behind to help the citizens of Mikado, Flynn takes down Lucifer, and both Mikado and Tokyo coexist in a new world. Of course, neither of that happens because Shin Megami Tensei IV Apocalypse exists. Apocalypse takes place after Flynn becomes the savior of Tokyo, who gets taken by the divine powers after threatening to kill Asahi if he didn't go with them. Later, the gang believes they rescue Flynn, but he was trapped by the divine powers, and the fake Flynn, Shisha, kills one of your friends, gathering enough energy to form the Cosmic Egg. Inside the Cosmic Egg, Dada had enough and ordered Nanashi to choose between him or his friends. Again, this decision will change Isabeau's life for the better or worse. If Nanashi chooses his friends, Dagda is killed and replaced, the friend he lost is brought back to life, Flynn is rescued, Seiran turns into Jonathan and Walter, and the samurais of Mikado reunite once again to take down the biggest menace they have ever faced. Is defeated and the world recovers its original shine. However, if Nanashi chooses Dagda, he kills every single one of his friends in cold blood, including Isabeau. Dagda offers Nanashi to choose a partner who will be with him for all eternity. If Nanashi doesn't choose Isabeau, she will become part of the fuel for the creation of a new world. There isn't a clue of which ending is canon, so I will let you choose which one is canon according to your personal preferences. Compared to the modern SMT companions, Isabeau might not have enough screen time, but the fact that her destiny is mostly bound to everyone around her shows how neutral might be the most tragic alignment in Megaten.
イザボ、彼らを安全な場所へ運ぼう。
あなたのせいで私たち嫌われたみたくってよ。あなたたちよかったら手伝ってくださらなくて。
救済？お前たちは一体。
怪我人をこんなところに放ってなど置けないわ。
僕が断ったとしたら。
不利。Alright!
The youngest partner of this video, Asahi might still be a child, unlike most of the partners we have seen so far. Although, that doesn't guarantee your life won't be as shittier as the rest. Quite the opposite for being a character from an SMT game. Asahi is from the SMT IV universe, a citizen of Tokyo, as well as her dad, to be more precise. Since she was born, she had to live a harsh reality where a single mistake might end up with you getting killed by demons or dogs. Asahi only lives with her dad, who retired as a demon hunter after the death of his wife, Asahi's mom. Now he runs the Ginshisho Hunter Association as boss. She and Nanashi are still kids who want to join the Hunter Association to defeat the demons and turn Tokyo into a safe place to live. Both have two instructors, Nikari and Manabu, trained hunters that go with the young apprentice to teach them how to survive outside. Nikari decided it's time Nanashi and Asahi learn how to fight and took them to Kinshi Park to fight weak demons and collect food. But shit went to hell after the group was surrounded by a demon group headed by Aramelech, killing Manabu, who protected Asahi from the flames, and Nikari, who protected Nanashi with ease. Nanashi protects Asahi from a fatal blow, falling to the ground completely dead. Asahi couldn't believe what she saw, the corpse of her best friend covered in blood. With Dagda's help, Nanashi comes back to life and makes Aramelech retreat, saving Asahi. The damage was done though. Nikari and Manabu died. Asahi started crying uncontrollably, but determined to become an official hunter. Asahi and Nanashi end up in the Sky Tower while recruiting demons. They get intercepted by angels but pull out a win, until the Archangel Angel arrives, almost sweeping our protagonists out until Flynn and Isabeau arrives. After completing their first mission, an old man approached to them with information to help Flynn. That old man was Odin disguised. He tells Asahi and Nanashi about an ark that has a demon sealed, a demon with enough power to help humankind. This was all but a trap. The demon tail seal was Krishna, the leader of the divine powers, and he wants Flynn to join their cause. They find Flynn before the divine powers, but not for long. Krishna wants to bring salvation to the world and needs Flynn's help. He refuses, but Maitreya appears out of nowhere and takes Asahi hostage. With no other choice, Flynn surrenders and gets captured, all because Nanashi and Asahi freed Krishna. Although there wasn't much they could do, Dagda wanted all of that to happen according to his plan, and he is in control of Nanashi's body. Once Nanashi and Asahi help the fairies for the second time, Dano manifests from Nozomi's body to enlighten the group about what Krishna's salvation is. They want to wipe the universe and create a new one where the divine powers are the rulers. Dagda shows up and reveals Nanashi is just a puppet. Without Dagda's help, he will die. Asahi is shocked. Her best friend is a mere tool of a god. On their first attempt to rescue Flynn, they got obliterated by Odin. Krishna, while mocking them, reveals that Nanashi and Asahi are the reason why he is free. The group felt betrayed, and the word was spread throughout the hunters and the samurai of Mikado. Now, no one trusts Nanashi and Asahi. In the middle of this conflict, some divine powers demons start attacking specific areas in Tokyo, one being Kinshicho's Hunter Association, where a demon called Quetzalcoatl killed Asahi's dad, who had shielded her from danger. Before he passed away, he said to Nanashi to keep an eye out for her, and thus, he died. Asahi's dad died in front of her. Her only family died. I wonder how many girls have lost their dad in Megaten. The list must be very long, to be honest. After the group finishes an important mission, Asahi visits Nanashi in his room, letting all know how she feels. She tried so hard to be a hunter to show her that she isn't a kid anymore, and now that her dad is gone, she understands that protecting what you matter most is what differentiates a kid from an adult. She knows she is useless without Nanashi. Regardless of it, she wants to stay with the group as much as she can. Wow, she's surprisingly more mature than most of the characters from this franchise. That's impressive. Later the group saves Flynn, and with his help, they defeat Merkaba and Lucifer. The citizens of Tokyo celebrated hard. The two biggest factions had perished and the divine powers were neutralized. All was looking great until it wasn't. Flynn does a motivational speech. Suddenly, every person in the shelter collapsed after Flynn devoured their souls. This Flynn is an impostor. It was Shisha, one of the divine powers allies. The real Flynn is still with the divine powers, who have faked their death to distract the group while finishing their plans to create a new world. Before departing, Shisha was about to devour Nanashi, but something stepped in their way and protected him. Asahi. Asahi gave her life and was devoured by Shisha. Nothing was left of her, just her blood. From now on, Asahi's fate depends on what Nanashi walks, like what Isabeau had to experience. If he chooses his friends, Nanashi will kill the old Dagda, the new Dagda created by Dano will bring Asahi back to life, Flynn will be rescued, and they will confront to see a new tomorrow, free of gods and demons. If Nanashi chooses Dagda though, his friends will be killed by him, and he'll have the option to bring Asahi back to life as her goddess in the new world. But she won't be the same he once knew. She will be a puppet with no own will. Just like with Isabeau, I will let you choose which ending suits you better. I'll be honest, before writing this script, I thought Asahi didn't suffer that much, but after replaying SMT IV Apocalypse, I realized how wrong I was. Man, choosing the winner is gonna be really tough.
Welcome back.
Okay, this is gonna be difficult. As you know, there are two versions on Shin Megami Tensei V, the vanilla version and the vengeance version. That means there are two Taos. Which one should I talk about? I think I'm gonna talk about both, but I'm gonna choose the one that suffered the most. Let's start with the original Tao. Tao is Kei Amemura's friend, who got involved in several events that ended up with him becoming an Ahovino. She introduces herself as the Saint of Bethel. Since she was young, she had a sixth sense, and has used it to help Bethel defeat the demons. Tao knew the truth about the fake Tokyo years ago. Tao has a best friend, Sahori Izukishima, who is suffering a lot of harassment by two girls from the lacrosse club for being too strict with them when she was part of it. Kei tells her to stay alongside her. It doesn't matter if she avoids her. Sahori got captured by a demon called Lamu, who was looking for her to be the other half he needed to become an Ahovino. Her hatred toward those two students was so much that she joined him. Tao did her best to change her best friend's choice. Twice, it was in vain. The first time, Lamu took her to the underground, and the second time, Lamu was beaten by Kei, but it was a trap. Sahori has already become one with Lamu and tries to kill Tao. Kei sees this and saves Tao at the cost of being severely injured, separating him from Aogami. Tao, in shock, sees how her best friend approaches her and gets stabbed by one of the tentacles and dies slowly, which triggers her magic powers as a saint and comes back to life just to save Kei and Aogami in time. After that, she completely disappears. We don't know more about her until the last part of the game. She manifests on the rooftop of Kei's dormitory. She is no longer human, but she isn't dead. She has become the goddess that will be important for the creation of a new world. After experiencing how Kei massacred each one of her friends, Tao regains her goddess form and fulfills her duty, guides the Nahovino to the throne and becomes one with it, creating a new world according to what Kei believes is right. Personally speaking, I don't think Tao suffered that much on vanilla SMT V. Let's see how her life is on Vengeance. Tao is still Kei's friend and the saint of battle, but there is a big difference that will drastically change the outcome of her life: the existence of Yoko Hiromine. From the first real interaction they have, we see their ideologies and points of view are so different that they tend to clash constantly. When Tao asks what she will do to help Saori, Yoko appears and says that if she wants to save her friend from the girls who are bullying her, she will do what is necessary, even if that means killing them. Tao rejects the idea, thinking her friend will never do such a thing. Yoko reaffirms that once a victim suffers for too long, it only desires one thing: revenge against the people who hurt it. Yoko's words worked on Tao. She gained the courage she needed to step up for her friend, threatening to kill the girls who harassed her. This act of pure love was able to break the deal between Saori and Lamu, saving her. Lamu is defeated and Saori is still alive. Everyone in the room looks relieved and happy, until the leader of the Kadish II, Lilith, appears and stabs both Tao and Saori with just one blow, killing them on the spot. Tao was brought back to life thanks to Goku, but it was too late for Saori. Tao swears to never back down for the sake of humankind. From that point on, Tao acts more decisively, unlike in the original SMT V, and doesn't feel afraid to tell the group she isn't comfortable with the decisions they make. In the fairy village, Tao and the rest of the group were horrified to see all the rescued humans and demons turn into salt, and no one knew who made it. Even though Tao and Yoko have different points of view, both have the same goal: to stop the Kadish II. They have taken countless lives to collect Magatsuhi for a cause our protagonists still don't know. In Shinjuku, they meet Mastema for the first time, who reveals he was responsible for turning people into salt. Tao couldn't believe angels could do such atrocious acts to achieve their goals. The Nahovino, Yoko, and she were witnesses to it as they saw Mastema turning their friend Ishiro Dasai into a salt statue. During their final confrontation with the Kadish II, they revealed they were looking to capture the Nahovino to use it as a sacrifice to revive their goddess, Tiamat. Lilith reveals Yoko was her spy and orders her to attack the Nahovino. She disobeys, promising herself to never hurt Kei or Tao. The Kadish II were defeated, or so they thought. The Kadish II were wasting time until their goddess Tiamat was about to awaken. They somehow weakened the Nahovino, incapacitated Yoko, and mortally wounded Tao, who, once again, died, this time on Yoko's hands. Tao awakens her powers as goddess of creation and accompanies Kei with his new Nahovino form to the throne, to be the one who will create a new world. During the race to the throne, Kei and Tao had to confront Dasai and Abdiel, with no other choice than killing them. Both Kei and Tao have lost another friend. Unlike in the original SMT V, the original personality of Tao Isonokami remains in her goddess form for having a stronger will that led her to move forward. Before creating the new world, a new challenger arises, another goddess of creation, Yoko. Both explain their points on why the ideal world of the opposite side is wrong. Nevertheless, Kei thinks Tao's perspective is right and sides with her, provoking Yoko to use Tiamat against them. It doesn't matter how much they try, Tiamat is simply unkillable. With just a single concentrated strike, it was able to separate the Nahovino form and almost kill Tao for the third time. It seems all was lost until Ogami recovers his physical form and the original Nahovino form returns. On his last breath, Koshimizu used the last energy he had to save Tao. Kei and Tao took down Yoko for the last time, who sacrificed her body to turn into Tahom, the living abyss. After defeating Lucifer, Kei and Tao created a world they believe is the best, a world where every wish is fulfilled, a world where every person is happy, and just like in the original SMT V true neutral ending, both Kei and Tao created copies of themselves to take their places, while they are taking care of their world and the universe. Now that's more like it. If I had to put the original Tao at the end of the video, she would have gotten the last place for sure. But with her different storyline that Vengeance brought to the table, things have gotten more interesting.
Now let's kill this thing.
At last, the last girl of today's video. Vengeance introduced a new girl to the story, and we've seen how her inclusion changed everything. But how do the events of the game develop from this girl's perspective? Let's find out. Yoko meets Kei for the first time when confronting Glacia Lavolas alongside Yuzuru. No one knows who this girl is. Well, except for us, because I already explained most of her story during Tao's segment. Yoko explains how she is capable of using magic. She was a student in a school that taught its students how to control magic and exorcise demons. Huh, that sounds like a neat school. Why didn't I go there when I was younger?
Because demons ain't real. Grow the fuck up.
Yoko stays with Kei for most of the game, and I mean it. While most of your party members are temporarily, Yoko never leaves you unless something happens to her. She is the real homie. Yoko is so grounded with her point of view about society that sometimes she can be a bit pessimist, to the point that she hates cards. Nevertheless, it's her perspective on life that triggers most of the characters' developments in the game, especially Tao's. During most of the game, she didn't suffer that much because she wasn't attached to anyone but Kei. That drastically changed the moment Kei and she confronted the Kadish II though. The Kadish II killed everyone she cared for. They brought back Tiamat from the dead and forced Yoko to remember what she was, a goddess. Yoko is later seen inside Shakan, a sacred temple of Beryl, releasing her power that was sealed by the creator. It is later explained by Mastema that Yoko was sealed 18 years ago, the power as goddess of creation, just like Tao. Her trust for the creator was betrayed, and thus she made a deal with the Kadish II to reclaim her power and destroy everything with Tiamat. We don't know more about her until Kei and Tao arrive at the throne. In this reality, Kei chooses Yoko to create a world where rules don't exist. A world where humans and demons are truly free. A true restart. Tao couldn't believe Kei betrayed her, and she tries to stop them until Mastema appeared and took control of Tiamat. The same cutscene takes place, replacing Tao with Yoko. This time, however, they must take down Mastema. It didn't matter how much he prayed for his god, and he answered. It wasn't enough for a Nahovino and a goddess. Tao, uncertain of what will happen to this world, leaves this world with Yoko. Without the original goddess on their way, the Nahovino takes Yoko's hand and destroys the world to create a new one where freedom is absolute. And this new world has its own Adam and Eve guiding it. That is a different approach to what a heroine should be, but I'll take it. I like when things are different for the sake of it. Now, it's time to choose the winner between these beautiful ladies. It's gonna be a tough one, and you might not agree with me, but it will be fun regardless. So, which one deserves the last place? I think Yoko Takao from Nocturne deserves it. She is partially the reason why her world was destroyed and couldn't fix this up for the lack of conviction, leaving everything to Naoki to do it, which we all know he didn't. She didn't even witness how the possible restoration of the world went to shit because she already became a Gatsushi. Say whatever you want, but she deserves to be last. This might be a controversial pick for the old Megaten fans, yet Rosanna can't compare her life with the other heroines. Yes, she was born in a post-apocalypse world and had to deal with the horrors of it. Despite that, her life went better after she met Hideto, a human with the will to fight until his world recovers its brightness. Besides that, there is another heroine who had a very similar life to hers, and got an even harsher one, and that's Asahi. Rosanna won't get a spot higher than this. Isabeau is in a complex spot. On one hand, she didn't suffer that much on SMT IV, and if Nanashi prefers his friends over Dacta, her life is quite decent. On the other hand though, forcing you to become a brainwashed goddess or the fuel for the creation of a new world is so messed up. For the first time in this series, I simply don't know where I should put her. So, listen to what I'm going to propose you. If you believe the peace ending is canon, Isabeau will get the 7th place. However, if you believe the anarchy ending is canon, Isabeau will be at least 2 or 3 spots higher than this. Hey, at least there is something everyone knows. Isabeau is the best waifu. Every time Megaten releases a remaster of an old video game featuring a new girl, those girls usually have the shittiest life possible. Yoko is not the exception, but is by far the one that suffered the least from the bunch. I mean, being betrayed and sealed by the creator you trust sucks. Aside from that, she wasn't attached for anyone but Kei, which she accompanies on the creation of a world where humans and demons are free. There is no way Yoko can compare to the others. If I had considered Tao from the original SMT V, she would have gotten the last place for sure. But Vengeance Tao is more developed and most importantly, tragic, which means she's more interesting to talk about. It's surprising how the experience of one girl changed everything. Tao lost her best friend, died almost twice, and had to kill the friend who encouraged her to stand up and fight for what's right for her. Nevertheless, she was able to create a world where every wish is fulfilled alongside Kei, and everyone is happy in it, or so we believe. Here's where things become more tense. These heroines have suffered the worst events someone could imagine from this franchise. Choosing which one gets which place between these four is gonna be rough. When the word heroine crosses my mind, I particularly think of just one, Yuka. The two biggest factions were looking to kill her for opposing them, reincarnated twice to support the protagonist to save as many lives as possible, and her love and pure heart are the light of hope that the people in need were looking for. She had a shitty life, and regardless of it, she helped anyone that needed her. She is the true definition of a heroine. Man, every time I think of Asahi, I remember how cruel the SMT world can be for underage protagonists and side characters. She has to experience horrendous things that not even some adults from this series had lived through. She lost her mom, her dad, and for days no one trusted her. And the last thing she saw before her painful death was a human serpent heading to attack her best friend. Her life was so messed up, but it wasn't as fucked as the two remaining heroines of this video. Just for that, Asahi gets the third place. At last, the finalists. Both heroines have lived through some of the worst events a human could ever imagine. On one hand, we have a student that got involved into a never-ending fight against gods and demons because of someone's fault, and on the other hand, we have a girl that saw on the first line how the angels are willing to do anything to accomplish their goals, even if that means brainwash, kill, kidnap people. Unfortunately, there is only one winner, and that winner is Yumiko Shirasagi! Congratulations! Choosing a winner between these two was so fucking hard. I was staring at the sky for like an hour thinking which one suffered the most. Nevertheless, I came up to that conclusion. Hear my argument, please. Hiroko had the shittiest life ever seen in a Megaten game. She couldn't see her father, she was artificially inseminated, her child was stolen from her, she got brainwashed for not fulfilling her duties, and found out her whole life was a lie because of the center. That's a mix between tragic and fucked up. But come on, do I have to explain why Yumiko got the first place instead of her? She saw how her teacher was raped by a demon, her mind was fucked after being witness of so much slaughter, a demon almost raped her, she was used like a puppet by Loki, and that's just on the first motherfucking novel. Yumiko is on another level. Her life is easily comparable with some mainline protagonists. Hiroko was a tough opponent. Still, the reincarnation of Izanami was too much for her. Yumiko, you are the heroine that has the most fucked up life everyone has ever seen. Congratulations! And that's why every protagonist needs a heroine to fight alongside him. Hopefully, the next generation of them won't suffer the same fate as the one I just mentioned. May I know your opinion about it, Satan?
If I buy some time, I won't see this bastard ever again. That was an interesting subject, my dear partner. Would you be so kind as to enlighten me with your wisdom a little more?
Wow, thank you so much. Maybe I can talk about Yuka Tachibana's life. Her life was even more
Sorry, time's out. See you in jail, sucker.
No. You son of a bitch. this is not over.
I'm such a disgrace, bro. 6 months without uploading a single video, talking about surpassing myself. Well, some of you already know why I haven't uploaded anything, but in case you don't know, this is the perfect opportunity to mention it. I got a job that I actually love, but takes most of the free time I used to have to work on videos.
This isn't the end of this channel, no, but rather a new beginning. I'll continue making videos, but they will be less ambitious to upload more often. I know this is a bittersweet ending, but let me confess to you something. I'm very happy with my life, and I hope you are happy with yours. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end, and we'll see us again in the next one. Goodbye!